us direction from above. We need a word from the Lord, a word from the Lord.
To sit on the right and on the left side of Jesus, oh, when he came into his kingdom. Oh, now mind you that Jesus had 12 disciples. He had the audacity to want her two baby boys, to sit on the right and the left side of Jesus. And don't you know that, that person that sits on the right and the left side of somebody in great power usually is somebody.
All right, yeah.
Oh, you look at some of the state dinners, or you look and see the presidents. Normally, if somebody's sitting on his right and somebody's sitting on his left side who can have conversations with the president, they are normally somebody. They're probably, the second and third most influential person within the room when they be able to sit on the right and the left side. So she was asking for her baby boys to be considered very powerful men.
All right.
Oh, if you get to sit on the right and the left side of Jesus, that means that you are somebody that's very important, very influential. So this mother had some audacity.
All right.
Like most mothers do.
Oh, Lord.
With their children.
Oh, Lord.
Most mothers want the best for their children.
That's right.
And not the worst. Most mothers, some mothers have stood up against bears who are trying to attack their children.
All right. That's right.
So it really wasn't a bad thing for her to ask this question. It wasn't a bad thing. Because a mother always is concerned about her children.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but to think about that in this text in Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. It talks about the mother of Moses. And it says, now a man of the house of Levi married a woman, a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. And when she saw that what? Click the button. He was a fine child. She hid him for 3 months.
Yes, sir.
Verse in the chapter before that, there had been a decree that every one of those children should die, would be killed. But when this mother gave birth to that baby boy, she essentially stood up against a king and said, no, my baby boy looks too fine. My baby boy is going to be somebody. And as a result, I'm not going to obey the decree of the king. I'll put my life on the line because of my baby boy. And most mothers are willing to do that when it comes to their baby boys and their life on the line. But what was unique about this mother's ambition is that most mothers probably wouldn't have the audacity to ask for this kind of power.
All right.
And maybe that explains how and why they were a part of that threesome, which were called the sons of thunder. These three men, the sons of Zebedee, along with Peter, were men who had audacity to call down fire from heaven for those who would reject Christ. So it gives us some insight to the kind of men that they were because of their mother. In other words, for the young folk, mama said knock you out. Mama say knock you out. You ever been in trouble? Some of us got in trouble and bully try to beat us up and go, mama, say mama push you away. You better go back and knock that other person upside the head. You're going to have to deal with me. Otherwise, mama say knock you out. A mother's ambition, it gives us some insight and to her. Some theologians say that Jesus never really dealt with that audacity that she had. Jesus told her the key to the greatness of her as a mother, and also the key to greatness for her son. Jesus said, told her in the text that it's not really my place to give the right or the left away, but if you want your baby boys to have my right or my left side, oh, you got to understand two things. You got to understand some things about a servant, and you've got to understand some things about a slave. And we go on to point number 2, the greatness of slaves. In verse 26, this is what he said. He says, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great amongst you must be your servant. Whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant, which was directly opposite, opposed to how leaders were doing things back in those day and time. Generally, greatness was defined not by you being a servant, but greatness was defined by how many people you got serving you.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Greatness, even in our day and time, is not defined by us being a servant, but it's defined by how many people we have working for us or working under us. And if you don't have some folk working under you, guess what? Guess what you are? You have to bite them on the barrel. In our day and time.
All right.
But that's okay, because if you want to be great, guess what? You got to be at the bottom anyway.
Oh, Lord.
You don't have folk, and that's why, even though we have 3 ministers on the roster, you'll see I probably don't have them doing too much for me. Because if I had them carrying my bags and toting everything I have and assisting me too much, guess what? In the kingdom of God, they'd be greater than I am.
Oh, Lord. Well,
guess what? I'm very competitive. I'm very competitive. No. I want to be great too. And greatness in the kingdom of God is defined by how you serve others, not by how others serve you.
yeah. Amen.
All right. We could get that. We could get that. We could get that. That is very deep. That is very deep. That is very deep. Matthew 26:11 says, the greatest among you will be your servant. Greatest among you will be your servant. So anybody here wants to be great? See, God, they say at the cross, it's leveled at the cross.
Right.
You see, because in this world, it's not leveled. If you don't have the right education, don't know the right people, oh, you may never get an opportunity.
All right.
Hello? You may have to always work hard, but at the cross, everybody can be great at the cross. Because guess what? Everybody can serve somebody.
All right. Amen.
Oh, say to your neighbor, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. Why don't you be great today?
Why don't you be great today?
All can be great in the kingdom of God if we're willing to serve one another.
Yeah, Lord.
You're willing to serve one another. That mother's ambition, boy, she wanted her boys to sit on the right and the left. She wanted her boys to be somebody. And Jesus said the key to being somebody is really being nobody.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, this is countercultural. This is countercultural.
The conqueror on the sea. But what we need is a special word that will burn within our hearts and give us direction from above.